You know, the internet never ceases to amaze me with this silliness. In general, right? You know what I mean? Like, far as a content creator, as far as, like, making videos, as far as, okay, if you had to ask me what makes me make less videos nowadays, it's the fact that I don't want to keep posting the same exact type of format, or I want to be able to add an edit to my shit, or something fly. Good morning, by the way. But yeah, that's kind of what makes me not make as many videos. But as far as the subject matter, I never run out of things to talk about. I can literally do this Snapchat, YouTube bullshit while I make a bunch of fucking clips and shit. I can literally do this 5 days a week and not break a sweat. And you know, I was gonna leave this one alone a little bit, but a nigga went and like not made me mad, but like came from left field on my Facebook. And I don't be, the thing I don't understand about Facebook, like I could, like, okay, I be wanting to have a dialogue with people. I be wanting to see your perspective or your point of view, and you know, certain, I try to be mature about this shit and really have a conversation and understand where the fuck people coming from. But fuck that. Dog, some of you niggas, bro, the shit y'all respond to my posts with be just, I could be in Kansas and you niggas come from way from California with some shit. And this pretty much leads me into my topic of the day, goddammit. I pretty much asked the question. I was like, what is America's obsession with making men do feminine shit on these magazine covers? Like, that was the question. That was the question. That was me trying to open up a dialogue to see what people thought. And, you know, maybe I'm one of them, the last, like, you know, of the Mohicans when it comes to this masculine man shit. Meaning, like, you know, I still defend it to some idea, to some point. Like, I still stand for a lot of what I feel like manhood is. Like, that's just my way of thinking. That's my personal belief. That's how I think. But I also know that everybody else around me don't think like that. Because I've taken a general consensus, and motherfuckers think the shit that they want to think. Like, cool, and I have no problem with that. My whole issue with a lot of this shit, a lot of times, is how y'all come across with it. Now, firstly, let me talk about this comment on my status. Like, you must be obsessed with feminine men because you keep talking about it. Bro, I just like to ask polarizing questions. Whether it sits with you wrong or not, or activates something in your spirit that triggers you to believe that I have an obsession with feminine men, I don't. Okay, and that's just me answering that candidly. Like, I'm not trying to be a jackass about it. I'm not yelling at you. I just do not believe that. Like, I'm not a feminine man. I don't really necessarily side with it. I don't necessarily hate it either. I just wonder what America's obsession with it is. You know, that's pretty much that on that. And I'm waiting for this cat to respond just to see how stupid he want to get. Because I'm one of them kind of people, I'm either going to do one or two things with this Facebook shit. I'm going to either troll you to fucking death, or I'm going to ask you to fight me. Hey, and I don't mind either direction. But I also feel like I'm getting too old for some of this shit. So I don't necessarily push the trolling the same way I used to. Because what I've come to understand about a lot of this trolling shit, one, I either get blocked, two, motherfuckers are not going to respond, or three, no one's going to really fight me. Like, the point I'm making as far as this Facebook shit, none of y'all are really prepared to take it there. Like, none of y'all, maybe a few, is very far and few in between. But I've been beefing with niggas all my life. And what I've come to understand is, a lot of y'all don't be trying to fist fight. Like, especially you niggas from Georgia. A lot of y'all do not like the idea of fist fighting because there's a possibility of you getting hurt. A lot of you niggas run straight to the car and get the pistol. And I get it because everybody else has a gun. I understand. But that's pretty much that on that. Now, secondly, right? This has been covered. There's been this cover floating around. It's Jonathan Majors. Now, I don't know a whole lot about the actor, right? I've just seen him in Creed. Apparently, he's an Ant-Man. He's one of the actors that I think personally is gaining a little bit of traction. I'm starting to see his face a lot. But the thing I'm starting to see pop up on my timeline all over the place is that fucking magazine cover he did when he sat with his legs crossed with his lips like, well, I'm not even going to imitate it. But he was basically doing the duck lip pose. Now, what gets me is either A, this is just what I think. This is just my opinion. You take it with a grain of salt. Either A, he wanted to do that. B, the magazine cover wanted him to do that. And B, and C, he didn't necessarily stop it, which tells me a lot. Now, again, in my years of growing, I've come to understand that motherfuckers think the shit that they think. That's his business. Like, that, if it's just him that wanted to do that, that is his God-given right to do the shit that he's doing. That is his God-given right. I am not here to bash feminine men. I'm not here to make you feel small. My question with the whole thing is, I don't understand why this image of men being feminized is being perpetuated to America. Like, I personally don't get the obsession. And again, that was the question I asked earlier before Jackass jumped from left field with whatever the fuck he said, right? I don't get why niggas can't be portrayed as, not even niggas. I don't understand why men can't be portrayed as men. For some reason, the social norm of America is just trying to kill masculinity. Now, I'm not as, when I say I don't understand it, that's pretty much stop and end of the point. Like, I just don't understand it. Now, what I've come to understand about this whole fake war on masculinity that I myself used to believe in, I'm a truck driver, right? There's hundreds and thousands of truck drivers on the road. There's men that work in locomotives, there are men that do construction, there are men that, you know, hunt, there are men that are police officers. What I'm saying is like masculinity, the idea of the war on masculinity, right? It could never really actually die, because you would have to get rid of every man on the planet for that to work. Like, you would have to, you would have to do some old slavery type, buck breaking type shit for that to work. We live in America where we have free choice. So as long as these jobs and the situations exist, or these men are being raised by other men, it's never going to really go away. So the idea that that there's a war on masculinity and all this shit's coming to an end, they're trying to kill the man, that can never really happen. Again, I just don't necessarily fuck with the feminization of black men. I don't get America's obsession with it. Like, I do not understand it. Like, maybe, I don't know. I remember there was a time where the black man was like the alpha male to some extent. And somewhere down the line, we got to this bitch ass shit. And I'm calling it a spade a spade. Like, so for a nigga like that to be on a cover like that, doing that type of shit, if you had to ask me, I think the magazine personally wanted him to make that pose. Like, either that or that man he one of them big fucking Terry Crews ass niggas that does a lot of the shoulder shifting bullshit. Like, that's his business. I'm not here to judge. And third, this A$AP Rocky Rihanna cover. This shit has been all over my timeline. And somebody drew a diagram. I wish I had the diagram to put it in. Like, somebody really went in on A$AP Rocky. Like, niggas are taking this shit as far. It's a very, I wouldn't call it a polarizing cover. If you ask me, if I take it at face value, you know what I mean? I think Vogue wanted Rihanna in the front, but Rihanna brought A$AP Rocky. That's what I think. I think A$AP Rocky is a man that supports his girlfriend or old lady or whatever. I think he's a man that supports his significant other. But the way niggas are tearing this cover apart, I get the point that y'all trying to make, but I think that this may be a touch of a reach a little bit. It's a bit of a reach a little bit. Now, funny thing is, I don't dislike A$AP Rocky. I like A$AP Rocky, but I have practically seen him and Rihanna switch clothes. Hey, do with that information what you will. But I get his part. I don't know. It's one of those things where I understand he supports his old lady. I get it. Like, I don't know. Like, I see niggas talking about he should be in the front with the kid, and a real man would never let himself be in the back, and whatever. Like, listen, nigga, you could have not been on the cover at all. Like, so in that instance, I get why he feels that way. Or I would have just let her do the cover by herself. Either, I don't know. Like, again, I feel like this one is a touch of a reach. It's a bit of a reach. Like, it looks, I can see what niggas is trying to say, but y'all might be doing a little bit much with this one. Like, I see discussions of this shit going around, right? Motherfuckers are like, whoever's the one that makes the most money makes the rules and shit. Like, and that's a whole nother conversation within itself, predicated on some other shit. But, I mean, listen, Rihanna is clearly the star of the relationship. Like, I don't personally have an issue with it per se. You know what I mean? It's not so much that I don't have an issue with the cover itself. It's the fact that motherfuckers make it out to be like, I don't know. They're trying to make him seem like he's feminine for that, I guess. Like, okay, the difference between that cover and the other one is like, Buddy is literally wearing like a pink, like, fucking mink around his neck with his legs crossed, blowing a kiss. A$AP Rocky is holding his girlfriend's hand and holding his baby. Like, the Rihanna A$AP Rocky cover is a bit, if you personally ask me, it's a bit of a stretch to be talking about it like that. But I mean, at least the discussion, if you ask me, as far as the progression of what's going on, I feel like at least the discussion is being had. At least men are having man opinions about it, per se. Like, I don't necessarily agree with everything that's being said, but the thing I respect about a lot of this conversation the most is that niggas are at least taking a stance. Like, even if it's a bit of a reach, even if niggas, you know, even if toxic masculinity exists in some form of bullshit, at least it exists, period. Like, you can't have one without the other, and vice versa. Like, you know, my mom brought me into this world, but my dad made me a man to some degree. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like both hands, like, you can't have left without right. You can't have hot without cold. You can't have up without down. You can't have red without blue. Like, the point I'm making is, you know, y'all want to have all these arguments, but you niggas will be all right, man. Like, I feel like y'all need not to be so hard on some of this shit. But nah, I just wanted to talk about that. I wasn't going to say anything about it. I was really going to be like, let that one blow over. But, you know, oh boy, whoever the fuck coming on my status, like, I hate when niggas come on my shit left field. Like, I think I'm one of them people that hates when things don't make sense. Like, if it's like predicated in a point, like, if we'd have had a dialogue or a conversation about whatever the fuck he thought, I would have honestly understood probably where he was coming from. But he wanted to be a dumbass about it. Like, and I feel like that's the majority of the people on the internet. Is like, y'all just say whatever and don't think, you know, before you talk. Because in your mind, like, you don't think nobody's gonna whoop your ass. Like, you don't think you could get hit in the mouth for some shit you can say on the internet. But again, that's my personal opinion. That's just my personal take on a lot of this shit. This is just an opinion. Take it with a grain of salt, nigga. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna go drop this damn load off and go on.